Hey, good morning, y'all. It is so exciting to be back together as family, as the church family. My name's Andrew. I'm the worship pastor here at Grace Point, and I've brought someone very special to be here with me this morning because this is my mom. Mom,
good morning, Grace Point.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thanks.
Are you having a good day?
I'm having a great day.
Awesome. Well, Mom, what I'd love for you to do is I'd love for you to introduce yourself a little bit to our live audience. Okay. Everyone out there, make sure you're giving my mom like a nice hand wave in the comments. Make her feel warm and welcome. But who are you?
I am Stephanie Brown. I am Andrew's mom. I am the mother of 4 children, Andrew being the oldest. I'm a nanny to 6.
That's right. And she is a party. So, Mom, it's Mother's Day, which means that you are going to be showered in love. All you moms out there, happy Mother's Day. We're so excited for you, and we hope that you feel loved and honored today. Take a minute to call your mom. Maybe mention your mom down in the comments and say, Happy Mother's Day, Mom. One of the things that has been kind of cool that we actually did as a church is we put together these Mother's Day DIY kits. It's a nice succulent. Thank you. It's a nice succulent that you have to build yourself. And then we gave it to the dads and the kids in a box like this. And let me tell you,
I got mine.
You got yours? Mine for my wife, and actually the one that I was building for you is at home, like all clamped together because as a dad, that's what we do. We just get the tools going. So here's what I want to know, Mom.
Okay.
Let's maybe share a little bit about our life together.
Okay.
So here's what I'm going to ask you. What is the most embarrassing thing that you remember me doing as a kid growing up?
Oh.
I mean, we just got to really kick it off right. We want to make sure that you're having a fun time in the comments for sure.
Well, let me just tell you, Andrew has always wanted to be a star. And I happened to walk in on him. He was probably in junior high, maybe.
I think I was in high school, unfortunately.
Standing on his dresser, using a remote control as a microphone, just rocking out to some Christian music, singing his lungs out. I was just totally taken off. I probably went up there to tell him he needed to be doing something, and I just totally lost it. Well, you don't walk in and see your son standing on the dresser.
Well, the way I remember it is I got home from school and there was no one home. And so why wouldn't I just crank up the music loud, rock and roll? But I do remember turning and looking on my dresser and seeing my mom in the hallway, and she's just like, oh my goodness, what an embarrassing day. Well, you know what? I think we want to hear a little bit from you guys out there. So maybe take just a second, and I want you to think about your mom. Picture your mom. And then I want you to think about your emojis, right? And I want you to think of, and put in the comments, what is the one emoji that best describes your mom? And go. Mom, I know that you love emojis. In fact, I can't remember receiving a text message from you that did not include an emoji of sorts. So if you had to say, hey, this is the emoji that best describes me, what would you say?
Well, I think my favorite emoji is the one where it's a face with a kissing. And I have been told by my son that you have to do 3 of them. You can't just do 1, you can't do 4, you got to do 3. So that's what I do now.
Well, look at that. We've got a couple starting to show up in the comments. We've got one from our friend Cameron McGee, who also said that he caught me rocking out last week, and it's a shopping cart. Let's see. Amber Floyd has the laughing face with the the V things on the eyes. We've got Jared Marley with a bunch of hearts around that smiley face. Melissa Straight doing the same one. Oh, this one's good. Angela Reynolds. This one might actually describe you. She's got that one with the wonky eyes where it's like,
yeah.
You know. Hey, you know what? If you're here with us for the very first time, you know, one of the things that we love about Grace Point is this is a place where we can connect with each other. And we want to connect with you. And so here's all you've got to do to get connected to Grace Point is you're just going to send a text message to 97000 that says GPC Connect. All one word, GPC Connect. You're going to get a link to a connection card, and we will follow back up with you to do everything we can to get you plugged in. You know, Mom, one of the other things that is probably it's actually my least favorite part of Mother's Day, but I think it's probably your favorite part. Brunch.
I love brunch.
Yeah, I don't understand brunch at all. So here's what we're going to do, though, because unfortunately for you, fortunately for me, we can't have brunch today. So in the comments, why don't you go ahead and drop an emoji, another emoji of your favorite brunch food. Okay, your favorite brunch food emoji in the comments. Let's go. Mom, you love brunch. I've been to plenty of brunches with you. What is your favorite brunch food?
Pancakes or waffles.
Oh, but
fancy pancakes.
Fancy pancakes. There we go. So maybe give us an example of some of your favorite fancy. Where do you get fancy pancakes? You know?
What's that place that we go to? Tuscan Trotter? Is that where we
have gone to Tuscan Trotter? Yeah, and Tuscan Trotter. Eat local.
And they have pancakes that have like an orange, some flavor that's my daughter-in-law, Stephanie, and I love. And then, what's that other place we've been to?
Waffle House.
I don't go to Waffle House. What are you thinking?
My mom, she's a fancy sort.
I even like the Mexican place that we get, and they have fancy pancakes
at Yiyo's Tacos.
Yeah, Yiyo's.
They have some pancakes there, yeah.
They have an American breakfast, because I'm not a Mexican food eater, but I have American breakfast, and they have a good fancy pancake there that Stephanie and I love to eat. I think Stephanie loves fancy pancakes too.
Apparently. Well, hey, thanks for being with us this morning. I'm glad that we're all together. Mom, thanks for hanging out with us. I know that you are waiting for the day that Grace Point, as a body, that we're able to gather together in person. You know?
Exactly.
And this online thing is fun, but there's nothing like being together. And so what we need your help. We've put together a quick survey for you to fill out to just kind of give us some of your thoughts about our process for reopening. So to get that, you're just going to text GPC survey, again, all one word, to 97000, GPC survey to 97000, and give us your thoughts on what reopening looks like. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started with our time this morning. And what better way to start it than honoring and thinking about our moms, especially our moms who maybe feeling all the pressure of being a mom. I don't know how many times you've gone and just sat in your closet as a mom, but we've got a special video that we'd love to share with you. So check this out.
Hi there, Jane's mom. I got your number off the class list. How's it going? A quick question, and I'm sending you a video so that you can correct me. But what is the hand motion that Miss Molly has all the kids do to get them to clean up? I've been doing clean up, but Jane tells me that's nothing like how Miss Molly does it and refuses to clean up her school stuff. So if you could send me a video of you doing it correctly, my floors would really appreciate it. Oh, sorry I'm in my closet. Everything's fine. I'm just realizing you probably don't even need the cleanup song because your house is so clean in all of your pictures. You probably did the zone thing that everybody said to do. Work zone, play zone. It's all one zone over here. Just sort of a try zone. Try to work, try to play, try not to kill each other. Except for this, the closet. This is my zone. This is where I self-quarantine from my self-quarantine. Remember jeans? It's funny, I want to be alone so badly, and then when I get alone, all I can think about are things I wish I'd done differently when we were together. Why did I say that like that? Why did she respond like that? Does this all go back to me not letting her quit soccer? Anyway, I'm actually very interesting. I do a lot of things. I'm pretty accomplished. I run a business. Well, 1/3 of me runs a business. We should hang out. But yeah, if you could get me that cleanup hand motion, preferably before class gets out, in 3 minutes. Gosh, don't you feel like these virtual classes could be a little bit longer? I just feel like kindergarten was 4 hours, and now we go online and you only want them for 25 minutes? Okay. Wow. I mean, I'm loving the extra family time, right? You just gotta savor these years. They go by so fast. So fast. So many great memories that we're making together. Like, I saw how you guys built the stuffed animal houses out of recycled materials. Same day as the rainbow bath. Pretty cool. We made a memory of 10 hours of everybody watching whatever they wanted to watch. We made that memory a couple times this week. So, good thing Jane's too little to have a phone and see pictures of the life she could be living at your house. Are you guys really on that schedule that you posted? Are you sorting shapes right now? Are you? We should be sorting more shapes. What if Jane never learns her shapes? Her soccer coach is going to be like, everybody circle up, and she'll just be lost. She doesn't even like soccer. I'm not a train wreck. Don't go spreading that around Zoom. We actually had a pretty good day the other day. We laughed as much as we cried, and everybody ate everything on their plate. And we went around and said something we were thankful for. I thought it was only going to last one time, and we just kept thinking of things. And then we read our favorite story, and they wanted me to read it, not even a famous person online. But then I went to bed, and it all just slipped away. I'm lying there going, that was a fluke. Tomorrow will be tough. Because 1/3 of you can run a business, but 1/3 of you can't raise a child. I mean, don't you just feel like there's not enough of you? I'm starting over every day, and I'm no more equipped. You seem so equipped. When you're in bed, and it's just you, and it's quiet, do you feel gentle towards yourself? Just wondering. Okay, take 2.
Okay, so hi, my name is Lori McDaniel. I just want to say good morning to Grace Point Church. I invited some moms from our church to join us right now. Some of them you may know, some of them you're about to get to know, okay? So here's the thing, that if you're watching, like, we can't make any promises. Like, this is totally unplanned. They've got kids in the background. You could probably hear the noise. You might see one of them run across. You may see a baby being handed to a mom. I don't even know, okay? So, but what you're seeing, like, this is life that's happening, like, right now, okay? So we're going to play a game, okay? So there's content, and seriously, like, you need to keep score. So on the honor system, you're going to get a point for every one of the ones you get right. But those of you who are watching online right now, you get to play too. This is a game called Mom's the Word, okay? And you're going to hear a phrase, and if you've ever said this phrase to your kids, you get a point. So there's a prize for both online and right here, right now. And if we have a tie, what we'll do is we'll put all the names in and we'll, like, draw a name out, okay? Fair enough? All right, you ready? Here we go. Mom, have you ever said, don't put that in your nose? If you've ever said that, give yourself a point. All right, we're gonna go fast. Next, have you ever said, I don't care who started it? Give yourself a point. Number 3, Mom, have you ever said, go to your room? Okay, here we go. Number 4, Mom, have you ever said, you're going to run away? I'll help you pack. I didn't say you wanted to say it, like, you've actually said it, okay? All right, next one. Have you ever said, stop touching her or him or them? Ooh. All right. Mom, have you ever said, you'll eat it and you'll like it? I see people, like, nodding their heads. We may have a tie all the way around. Okay, next. Mom, have you ever said, don't make me come in there? All right, next. Have you ever said, someday you'll thank me for this? All right, next. And Eliza's over there taking notes. Like, I'm supposed to be saying these things? Okay. Mom, have you ever said, I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4, 5. All right, anybody ever done that? All right, next. Have you ever said, text me when you get there? All right, here we go. Have you ever said, now come downstairs and go back to your room without slamming the door? Next. You're just like your father. I guess that could go like so many ways. All right, next. You'll always be my baby. Next, have you ever said, because I said so, that's why? All these momisms. Okay, have you ever said, your face is going to freeze like that? Have you ever said, I've had it up to here? I don't know where here is, but you've had it. Okay, next. Have you ever said, so if your friend jumps off a cliff, are you going to jump too?
Yes.
Have you ever said, you want me to kiss your boo-boo? Have you ever said, go ask your dad? Have you ever said, when COVID is over, you're going to be the first back to school? Okay, so count your points. All right, tally them up. Those of you, the ladies here on screen, but those of you also who are watching online, if you're watching online, I want you to like text your points in the comments, and then we'll be like looking at those, and then later on in the service at the end, Andrew will come back and he'll say who has won. And so what you're going to win, if you're the winner online, you're going to get dinner at Ramonera. You're going to get a gift card there. So I think that's pretty cool. I would take that. Okay.
Nice.
So ladies here on in this group, so like tell me how many points everybody has.
I want to lie because I want that voucher, but this is a Christian event, so I only had 2.
Okay, 2. But thank you for your integrity. We'll give you a bonus point, so we'll give you 3.
I had 17.
Oh, there was 20. You got 17 out of 20.
17.
All right.
11.
11, Annie. Summer?
9.
9, Corey.
18.
Oh!
I feel like I have a little advantage with all the children. I've had so many times to say so many things.
Well, you have a kid in every decade, like pretty much. All right, so Corey's the winner. You're gonna get a gift card to Ramonera. So I don't know that it'll feed like how.
I can have a mom date.
Okay, there you go. That's what it'll be. So, hey, ladies, again, thanks for playing. I think it's good to have fun. You know, we want to encourage and honor our moms. I do want to ask you this question, okay? So, to kind of, you know, challenge our moms a little bit. So we have women who are watching that have kids at home. Some have launched kids. Some are grandmothers. Some are women who maybe their role isn't being a mom, but they walk alongside moms and they hold hands of kids and they mentor young girls. So I want them to hear from you, you know, just briefly, okay? So fill in this blank. As a mom, I never thought I would.
Turn 40. My mom turned 40. I never thought I would turn 40. And now I'm a mom that's over 40.
It happens.
Still young at heart.
That's the best. Awesome. Corey? I would say I never thought I would be a mom of 9 children who homeschools. Never. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that, but I am so thankful God's plans are better than mine.
Summer.
I never thought I would smell a poopy hand. Guys, rookie mom. My son came up to me one day. He's like, smell my hand. Sure enough. Cool. I will never smell that hand ever again.
Everybody online watching right now is going, oh, yes, we've had that too. Right. Others are going, like.
Your time's coming, people.
All right, Eliza.
I never thought I would look at my baby and adore him so much and also be incredibly frustrated at an infant.
Being a mom of a newborn is exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, I washed my hair this week. It's a good week.
Yay!
Well, you see, you have an excuse of a newborn. The rest of us are blaming it on COVID.
So true.
But then it's those things that you never thought as a mom that are exciting and exhilarating and yet frustrating and exhausting, and all that wrapped up together is like, that's what it being a mom, right? So even online, you guys, I want you to answer too, like in the comments, like, as a mom, I never thought I would, and you fill in the blank, okay? Because we don't want you just laughing at us. We want to laugh at you too, okay? So we're going to go back. We're going to read these later. So ladies, let me ask you this question. Like mom advice. It can be advice that maybe that you've learned at any stage of being a mom, okay? So some advice or wisdom that you would give our moms today. What would you say?
I'm going to go first so that I don't have to follow any of you ladies. But my advice, and take it with a pinch of salt because I'm a brand new mum, is just to write. I feel like we sometimes feel like we're in a groove, and I feel like I'm the world's best mum. Everything's great. And then we have a day like we had yesterday where everything goes wrong, and I feel like those days are a lot smoother if I just ride the wave and just put it down to a bad day. And I try not to get caught up in, the day we had yesterday or how bad tomorrow might be, but just kind of ride the wave and just kind of be accepting of the moment for what it is. That's been helpful for us.
Annie?
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest thing as a working mom, we made the choice. So both my husband and I, when we had kids, we sat down and said, okay, what do we want to do? And this was the best choice for our family. And so for me, I just have to forgive myself every day. Forgive myself for my faults, or forgive myself for missing something, or forgive myself for saying the wrong thing. Or, like as a working mom, you want to be perfect in the office. You want to be perfect at home. You want to be the perfect wife. You want to be the, great mom of the kids and show up to every dance practice and every soccer practice. And so for me, I've just had to remember that, we always talk about forgiveness in the form of forgiving others and God forgiving us, but do we always remember to forgive ourselves?
Yeah, that's good. Summer?
Mine would be not comparing myself to other moms. Comparison, I've learned, it is a liar, and it is a fun sucker, and it can just steal your joy from motherhood. When you see Betty over here doing really cool crafts with her kids, but what you're not seeing is the failure that probably happened before that. You're just seeing the fun. So not comparing myself to a lot of other moms.
All right, Corey.
Okay, so I was really thinking about this earlier, and I have so many things I could say, but I think just giving God ultimate control over your kids' lives. Like, it's easy to say, oh, I trust God and all of these things, but when the rubber meets the road and things don't go the way that you quite had planned them to go, are you going to put your complete trust in God?
Amy?
Oh, mine kind of goes right along with that. It's like all the plans, the expectations, the predictions that you have for your kids, to really hold on to them loosely, because when life comes, they shift like sand, right? And so to really have your feet cemented, to really stand firm on certain things like faith and love and family, like those are the things to cling to, not the expectations and the plans and and just, I guess, it's kind of like to know which battles to fight.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies, for that. I want to close by reading some of the letters that poured in. So Mike challenged people to like write about their mom because they're the best mom in the universe, right? And Mike's like, and they're all right here at Grace Point Church. We already know that. All the best moms in the universe are right here. And so, but we wanted to hear, and we had all these, like, it was awesome. All these, I want to read just a few. There's no way I can read all of them. Like Lori Carter said, my mom is the best because she has made so many sacrifices for me and my siblings. Kelly Cope, a selfless, loving child of God who loves her children unconditionally. My mom is Melanie Jones. She's the best mom. And it says, she is so, and it has like 25 O's after it. Nice. She helps me live my dream, loves me unconditionally, accepts me for who I am. Her patience is limitless. And in the parentheses, sometimes. That's awesome. Okay, but here's the winner. Okay, so the staff looked at these, and here is the winner. Okay, and this is what it said about their mom. It's so cool. She's just a loving mother who always puts her love for Jesus and her children first. My mom is the most legit and epic person ever. She loves God and her little babies. She can rap and bust it down all swaggy like. I'm pretty sure, listen to this one, I'm pretty sure she's a secret agent and that's why she knows everything I do before I do it. Sometimes she doesn't get my humor, but she thinks I'm funny sometimes. She can run a 4.36 40-yard dash. About the same person, it says, Corey Addison, mother of 9 kids, Kobe, Keegan, Chloe, Carly, Cameron, Knox, Cash, Cora, and Quinn. Like, that's a tongue twister. Corey, we just want to honor you today. Just your kids have honored you. Your husband has honored you. And we're honoring all moms, right? But Corey, we just want to say, hey, like, we love you. Thank you. We actually have a gift card for you. All the moms that are listening right now, listen, Grace Point loves you. We want to challenge you. We want to shape you, sharpen you, encourage you. And, you know, even as members of Grace Point, like, you need to know, like, we have the best church family. Like, generosity has just poured in. So we were able to give out like hundreds of Mother's Day gifts out to moms and other things that we've done in the community with truck drivers and kids who needed help with snack packs and so forth. And it happens because, you know, our church family is just that generous. So thank you. So we hope you've been challenged and encouraged. Honor your mom today. And let's just go into a time of worship and singing songs together.
Hey, church, wherever you're at today, let's worship together. I raise a hallelujah in the presence of my enemies. I raise a hallelujah louder than the unbelief. I raise a hallelujah. My weapon is a melody. I raise a hallelujah. Heaven comes to fight for me. I'm gonna sing on, church. Sing a little louder.
Oh, sing a little louder.
Sing a little louder.
In the presence of my enemies.
Sing a little louder.
Louder than the unbelief.
Sing a little louder.
My weapon is melody.
Sing a little louder.
Heaven comes to fight for me.
Sing a little louder.
In the presence of my enemies.
Sing a little louder.
Louder than the unbelief.
Sing a little louder.
My weapon is melody.
Sing a little louder.
Heaven comes to fight for me. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, gonna hear my praises flow. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, gonna hear my praises flow. Up from the ashes, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is
We're going to sing this phrase, this next little piece of song, because it is so awesome that this morning we are not beside each other, but we are still singing and praising the same God that deserves it. So let's sing this together.
all the earth will shout your praise. My heart will cry. These bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. My heart will cry. These bones will sing. Great are you, Lord.
All right, let's sing that out. praise. There are other things in our lives that compete for our attention and the praise of our mouth and our actions. But God, you deserve it because you are the maker. God, I pray as we move forward in our worship and we move forward in our togetherness this Sunday morning as we hear from the Word and celebrate the good news of your Son, Jesus. I pray our hearts and minds are ready for it. And I thank you for the truth of your Word and the comfort that it brings. It's in your Son, Jesus' name we pray it. Amen. I am super excited about this song that we're going to sing together. Our church knows it well. I think this song is just perfect for the season that we are in right now. I think it's just perfect because no matter how you're viewing the circumstances that all of us are having to live in, no matter how you feel about it, whether it's nerves or fear or confidence or whichever, however you want to describe how you're feeling, the real truth of this season, which is the same truth in every season, is that the Holy Spirit is right here with us. And we can take comfort, we can take solace, we can take humility, whatever we take from that in this moment, that our God, who was literally with people in the fire in the Old Testament, is the same God now, is the same Father we have now. And that Father gave us a Son, Jesus, who conquered death and sin, and sent us a Comforter so that we can confidently sing the words that we're going to sing right now together. That in the past, He's been with us. Right now, He's with us. And in the future, He will be as well. Let's sing this. There's a grace when the heart is under fire. Another way when the walls are closing in. When I look at the space between where I used to be and this reckoning, I know I will never be alone. There was another in the fight, standing next to me. There was another in the waters, holding back the seas. Should I ever need remind of how I've been set free, there is a cross that bears the burden where another died for me. There is another in the fire. Yes, another. There's a lot of joy in this. All my dead left for dead beneath the waters. Celebrate this. 'Cause I'm no longer a slave to my sin anymore. Amen. What a wonderful truth this is. There is no other name but the name that is Jesus. Yeah. He who was and still is and will be through it all. So come what may, the space between all the things unseen and this reckoning. 'Cause I know I will never be alone. Sing that again. I know. Yes. 'Cause I know I will never be alone. Another in the fight, standing next to me. Be another in the water, holding back the seas. Should I ever need reminding? Could you answer me? I got the joy come every night. I know that's where you'll be. I can see the light in the darkness as the darkness bows to Him. I can hear the roar in the heavens as the space between west and I can feel the ground shake between us as the prison walls in. Nothing stands between us. Be another in the fight, standing next to me. Be another in the waters, holding back the seas. Should I ever need reminding? Answer me. I count the joy on every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. I count the joy on every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. I count the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. I count the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. I count the joy come every battle, 'cause I know that's where you'll be. Why don't you just close your eyes for a second, hold on to that statement. Counting joy in battles, in trials. Just keep your eyes closed just for a second. Embrace that. Counting joy in battles and trials. Because, not of the circumstance, but because of the Savior. Count the joy. Yes. Yes, sir. Sing this. I can see the light in the darkness as the darkness bows to Him. I can hear the roar in the heavens as the space between wears thin. I can feel the ground shake beneath us as the prison walls cave in. Nothing stands between us. Nothing stands between us. Thank you, God. Nothing stands between us. Thank you for the resurrection power of your Son, Jesus. And God, as we hear from your word and we hear what you've spoken through Pastor Mike this week, God, I pray it changes us. It's in your Son, Jesus' name I pray it. Amen.
Happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers out there, and we love you, we honor you, and I hope that you have an incredible day. And I hope that your children and your spouse, I hope that they show and appreciate you. I hope if you have children far off and maybe they're not even in the home, that they'll reach out to you. And one of the things that we've been able to do is put together some gifts. So if you didn't get Mother's Day gift, it might not be too late. You might be able to swing by the church this afternoon and pick up a gift that we have prepared for them to honor them. So they're available. They're at the front on the overhang area of the church. Pull up. Your mothers won't even know it if you get here before long. So think about that. Also, let me say this as well, that this month is the month that we're going to honor our seniors. Next week is senior recognition. It's normally the time of the year that they have graduations and all the diplomas and accolades and honors and scholarships. Well, this is COVID-19 and it's not happening like normal. So we want to put a stake in the ground and honor the class of 2020 in a big time way. So would you join with us? If you want to be a part of honoring the class of 2020, here's how you can do that. Text seniors with an S on it to 97000. That will put you to a website on our website that will enable you as a senior, if you're a senior, to register to be a part of the celebration. But also, if you want to adopt a senior to honor them, then you can be a part of that. We don't want any seniors left behind. We want to honor them big. And let me tell you, next Sunday we're pulling out all the stops. We're going to have an incredible time together, and we have some guest speakers, all-star lineups to share and to speak into your life. We're going to have people sharing about wisdom and life. We'll be in James chapter 1 verse 5 where we're ending today. We'll be there. I'm going to start, but we're going to kick it over to a graduate of our student ministry and his fiance, my son and soon-to-be daughter-in-law, Emma Jenkins. Josh and Emma will share with you the wisdom that you need going into college. And then we're going to have some guests with Sadie Robertson to share with us. She and her husband will share with us about life in the early years of adulting and marriage. And then to cap it all off, we have Dr. and Senator John Bozeman to speak over our graduates. We are going to have a stellar lineup next Sunday. Invite your family wherever they are, wherever they're living. Invite them to watch our live stream next Sunday, 8:30 on Facebook Live. We're going to have a time together, but to end it all, we're going to get all of our students and we're going to pray over them. Virtually as it may be, we're going to pray over our students and bless them and commission them out into this world. So that's coming up next Sunday. But there's no doubt, our seniors have had the raw end of the deal. But to be honest with you, everyone has. In some degree or another, it is disrupted our rhythms. It's disrupted our assumptions, what's going on right now. And we're trying to navigate it. We're trying to make the best of it. But listen, I've heard children, parents have shared with me how their children have cried themselves to sleep because they miss their friends. That's hard. That's a separation anxiety that they're going through. And that's something that I wish our kids were not having to go through that. Marriages have been struggling. I was speaking with a marriage counselor in our area just the other day, and they said that their clients are going through the roof. They have more and more clients, more than they can see, and able to accommodate just because this COVID crisis has created or revealed cracks in their marriage. It's not created greater intimacy for some, it's created greater distance in the midst of being cooped up together or whatever the stresses may be there. So this has been a disruption. And I just want to know, is anybody tired of Zoom yet? I love Zoom. I love the feature of it. I love what it offers us, but I'm tired of it. I got Zoom fatigue. In fact, I've been researching Zoom and all the Zoom fatigue that is out there. I didn't even know it existed, but there was a study that was done in 2014 by some German academics talking about online classes and the quality of them, and do you get better quality through online experiences and so forth, and they actually found that you don't. That actually collaboration quality goes down, work output goes down, that people become more fatigued, physically, emotionally fatigued because they have to try to stay engaged, or if you're the presenter, you're looking at deadpan faces. There's so many things that is pulling us away from quality relationships, quality time with each other. I am struggling with Zoom fatigue. If that is you, raise your hand. Would you just put a hand raised in the emojis and just let me know if you're struggling with Zoom fatigue. Maybe you're loving it. I don't know. So give me feedback on that. But again, we're in this series of disruption. We're ending the series today, but let us be reminded, a disruption is an interruption to our assumptions. Just how things have been going on and on and on. Let me tell you about a study that was done by Washington Post and published in the Washington Post on Google searches. It just shows you the difference in 1 year. So they looked at Google searches, the top 20 Google searches in the first week of April in 2019. 1 year later, they looked at the top Google searches in 2020. Top 20. Let me give you just some of them, okay? This just shows you the disruption. So in 2019 of April, the very first week, the number one search on the how-tos was how to train a dragon. It was a cartoon, and it was How to Train a Dragon, a fairy tale cartoon. The second one, some of these make total sense. It's how to lose belly fat. And another one was how to lose weight. It's kind of like, oh, everyone realized spring break's coming up on us and I got to get my beach body on or something like that. Another one in the top 20 was how to tie a tie. I thought about that one. Why in the world? Prom. Everyone's getting dressed up, getting on the digs for the prom, so how to tie a tie. Now this next one, I don't know why. It's how to get away with murder. Maybe that's if you have a bad prom date. But that was in the top 20, how to get away with murder. So go figure on those, okay? Here's the top in 2020 of April, the very first week. How to make a mask out of fabric. So the number one search. The number two search, how to make hand sanitizer. How to file for unemployment. How to cut hair was one of the top 20. And this is a hilarious one. How to make French toast. So maybe now we know that how you survive the quarantine life is you eat French toast. I don't know. But needless to say, we've had a disruption to the assumptions of what we Google search. Listen, there's a dark side to this, and there's a disruption to this, and there's a discomfort to this, and there's a I'm ready for this to be over. But you know what? We're in this series, as we end the series today on disruption, I want us to turn our eyes to start focusing on the future. I want us to start thinking intentionally about tomorrow. What does tomorrow? Yes, it's dark, the disruption is there, it's messed things up, but what if we intentionally moved into the future? What if we set our eyes and looked to the future with great intentionality? What if we took this quarantined life, being sheltered in our home, sheltering in place? What if we took it and we turned it and we said, I want to go back to a new normal? What would that look like? Because I have to believe that this disruption is something that God has allowed to come into our society to maybe set us on a better path. Now, I am not going to get into the whole theology behind pain and suffering, but I just want to say that God can use even pain and suffering to do incredible things in our life. And there might be, on the other side of this, a bright future if we capitalize on this moment. Here's a life principle for you. Jot it down. God has a purpose in our pain. I want you to say that with me. God has a purpose in our pain. What is the purpose of the pain that you are feeling? Maybe it's so that you would reformat your life. Maybe it's so that you would reboot your life, to use a computer term. Maybe it's so that you would reimagine your life. This series that we're going to launch in today is in the book of James. We have these guides, these ESV study guide journal Bibles, if you want to pick up one of them. But just imagine with me, what if I could reimagine my life? What if I used this downtime, this staying at home time, this intentional time that I have to be sequestered in my house? What if I used that to reimagine, to reformat, to reboot my life to God's better plan and design? That's where we're going to be going in the weeks ahead. That's where we're going to be aiming in the weeks ahead, because when you look at pain and suffering, we got to remember that God uses that pain for a purpose, that God has a purpose in our pain. Now, where do I get that? Because in James chapter 1, verse 4, so be finding James. If you have one of these journal Bibles already picked up, you should be able to find it really quickly. It's the very first pages. James chapter 1, verse 4, it says this. This is the purpose of the pain that we go through. You may be perfect, complete, lacking in nothing. God is going to do something in your life that you may be perfect, complete, lacking in nothing. Is there one word in that sentence that doesn't excite you? Lacking in nothing, complete, perfect, that you would be? That's a speaking of promise. That's speaking of hope. That's speaking of possibilities. What if we reimagined our life? And in this season, we set off on a new course. In James chapter 1, verse 1, we get these words, James, the servant of God. Now that's what James, the author, the half-brother of Jesus, that's simply how he introduces himself. Paul would always say servant of God and an apostle. James says servant of God. Pure and simple, I'm just a servant of the Lord Jesus Christ. To the 12, dispersion. To the 12 tribes that are scattered throughout. See what had happened in Acts chapter 8 verse 1. You can read it in your own time. The church in Jerusalem had been dispersed, had been scattered. We're filming today in the empty corridors. You hear the echo maybe. The empty corridors of Grace Point Church. Because why? Grace Point has been dispersed. So there's probably not a more appropriate book to study than a book that the half-brother of Jesus wrote to a church that was no longer able to meet in Jerusalem, that had been dispersed because of the persecution, and they have been scattered abroad. And what James does is he writes this very highly practical letter of encouragement and instruction to believers. In a day of dispersion, in a day of disruption, let us consider the words of the half-brother of Jesus. And so he goes on in the following verses. He says, greetings. He says, count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect, complete, lacking in nothing. There you have it. That's the aim. That's where God is going. It's the purpose behind the pain. God has an end game for your life. But we have to live the short game if we want to see the end game. And the way we're going to do that is I'm going to really challenge you, and I'm providing some questions for our small groups. And if you want to be a part of a group, or you want to join a group, or you want to start a group, let's talk. Let's have a conversation around that. Because I have 4 COVID-19 reflection questions that I'm giving all of our group leaders. So go ahead and text your group leader right now. Say, hey, send me these 4 questions. Because these 4 questions are going to help tee you up, prepare you for that reinvention, that realigning, that rebooting, that reimagining your life. Using this time, capitalizing on it, knowing that God has a long game, let's live the short game really well today. If you would like to be a part of a group, like to learn more about groups, here's what you can do. Text GPC groups to 97000. GPC groups to 97000. Be sure and lump all those words together, and that will connect you up. We'll get you connected. Let's talk about the book of James. Again, I have to say this. It's one of my favorite books in all the New Testament. If you took all the books of the New Testament, I would probably put it in my top 3, maybe 4 of the top books of the Bible. I have been literally praying, God, I want to preach through James. God, I want to share through James. God, I want to do a study through James for the past 2 years. And it was just about 2 weeks ago that God gave me the clearance. It's time to go through James. I love it. What a time. What a season. Why do I like James so much? It's so practical. I mean, it's written to the church that's dispersed. We're a church that's dispersed. You can't get any more practical than, or more relevant to who we are today. But it's also, when you think about the book of James, you need to see it as a very practical book. It's the Proverbs of the New Testament, some people have said. It also gives very clear instruction. There are more imperative commands per verse, per ratio of books of the Bible, than any other New Testament book. 55 calls to action in this one 5-chapter book. You won't want to miss the study all the way through this summer. God has a purpose in His pain, and He's going to reveal it to us in His Word. Let us reimagine our lives. So how is it that we work through this disruption, as we end that series today, into a reimagined life? Again, we're in the short game right now. We got to live the short game well to get into God's long game for our lives. And so how do we make that transition? Well, it's like this. I want to live a James 1:4 life where I'm perfect, complete, lacking in nothing. Well, I can't until I live a James 1, 2, and 3 life. I have to live verse 2 and 3 before I can live verse 4. It's just a part of God's plan. And what James does here, he brings in an ancient rhetorical device. A concatenation is what it's called. I'd never heard of that before, and actually did a lot of research on it. It's actually a rhetorical device that Jesus used even when He was teaching on prayer. When Jesus said in Matthew 7:7, He said this, ask and you'll receive, seek and you will find, knock and it will be open unto you. He's using this rhetorical device of 3 distinct statements, but yet these 3 statements tie together. Paul did the same thing in Romans chapter 5, verse 3. Well, James does it in this passage. When he talks about trials, is tied to steadfastness, is tied to perfection. You can't separate them out, but yet they're all separate. They come together. That's, again, a rhetorical device. So as you look at this, let's understand these 3, how they tie together. And I want to call it 3 pathways through disruption to a life reimagined. 3 pathways, if we're going to move from disruption into a life reimagined, how do we get there? Number 1, choose your attitude. Pure and simple. Choose your attitude. Nobody chooses your attitude for you. That's just hard talk. That's just the reality. Your circumstances may be dictated to you. The relationship that's not what it ought to be maybe was given to you. The broken trust may be there. But you choose your attitude. I choose my attitude. The way I see things, the way I feel things, that is a lot upon me. And listen, my attitude is my forerunner. It is what people see in me. It's what people hear from me. It's what even people smell when they get close to me. So choose your attitude. Here's a life principle for you. Your attitude is your choice. I know it seems like some trite statements that I'm making there, but don't miss what's going on here. That sometimes we get lost in the pursuit of happiness. And what we don't want to miss is the deep, abiding presence of joy. See, joy is a state of being, while happiness is a state of mind. Happiness is because things happen to you. Joy depends on something that happens in you. So what am I? Am I happy or am I full of joy? Because if I'm full of joy, it will overcome the circumstances of my life. Happiness is based on circumstances outside. Joy is based on substance inside. Now, why do I say all that? Because the very first command of the 55 commands in James that he gives us is in verse 2, when it says, count it all joy. That's the command. Count it joy. Choose your attitude. Decide right now that I am going to look at my life and I'm going to say, I don't like maybe my circumstances. I don't like this situation. I don't like my job, or I don't like my relationship. But I'm not going to let that determine my attitude. I am going to have an attitude of joy. One translation of the Bible says, consider it all joy. Consider it, count it all joy. It's an accounting expression where you need to go in and do the books on your life, but you need to cook the books. You need to add it all up, but at the end of the day, put, I've got joy. I'm going to have joy in my life. I'm going to have the right attitude about my life. Dennis Waitley says it like this: the winner's edge is not in a gifted birth, a high IQ, or in talent. The winner's edge in all things is the attitude, not our aptitude. Attitude is the criterion of success. But you can't buy attitude for $1 million. Attitude's not for sale. Why? You choose it. You're just going to have to choose it. It's why when Job was under deep loss and pain and suffering, what did he say? He said, though he slay me, I will trust in him. See, there was something deep inside of Job that could not be taken from him. His wealth, his health, his family could even be taken from him, but he was still trusting and abiding in his relationship with God. What did Paul say when he was locked in jail to the church at Philippi who was living in freedom? He said, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. This is a man in a prison cell saying, people outside, you need to have an attitude of joy. Now, I've learned something about myself in COVID-19. It's hard to even say this, but it's true. I am an anxious person. I'm just being honest with you. I didn't know I was until now. Because here's what I found over the past 3 months. This was even before COVID-19. This has been since the beginning, midway through January of 2020. I've just had a lot of anxious thoughts, struggles, and trying to navigate them and trying to do the right thing, think the right thoughts, trying to sort things out. And it's not easy because I am a fixer. You got a problem? Bring your problem to me. I'll fix it. This has been something I couldn't fix. And so in that, then COVID-19, everything else, it's been a journey for me, but I've had to learn, and I'm learning, that I've got to count it all joy, even when I can't control my circumstances. So let us remember the first pathway, choose your attitude. The second pathway is take the test. You can't skip this test day, okay? This is not a test that we can skip. Just man up or woman up and take the test. It's real. We've got to do it. If you struggle in school with test anxiety, would you just give me a raise of the hand in the comment section? If you struggle with paralyzing test anxiety, where literally you lost sleep and you wept or you just froze up, raise 2 hands in the comment section. I want to know who are test anxiety people out there. If you made straight A's and everything, well, I got envy for you. All right, that's all I can say about you. Listen, James goes on to say it's not only count it all joy, my brothers, because he says when to count it all joy. When you count it all joy, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know the testing of your faith. Let's break that down real quickly here. He tells us when. It didn't say if, he said when. And he says what? When you meet. When you meet what? When you meet trials. Now, have you noticed about trials? They don't come up and stick their hand out and say, hey, I'm a trial and I'm here to greet you. No, they come kick your door in the middle of the night. They scare the life out of you. They take joy from you, or they take whatever sense of rhythms you have. It's a disruption in your life. When you meet trials, when you meet them, when they attack you, when they ambush you. But he said trials. It's an interesting word there. It's a Greek word pyrosmos, where we get our English word pirate from. Pyrosmos, pirate, you can hear it even in that word. He uses that word no less than 6 times in chapter 1. It's a major theme. So what you can take away from that is you realize that in this life reimagined, that a part of the life reimagined is a disruption, is trials that are going to come upon us. And in those trials, in those seasons of trials, that's when we can begin to live a life reimagined. Pyrosmos, trials are going to come upon us, but also says this, of various kinds. Of diverse colors and shapes and sizes are going to get us. Verse 3, for you know that the testing of your faith. I said, take the test, his pathway. Don't try to skip it. Don't try to go around it. You've got to face it. When trials come, when tests come, they're there to make us better, holy, what God intended us to be. Perfect, complete, lacking in nothing. He allows trials to come into our life to test us. And that word testing literally means by fire. Just like you would test gold or silver by fire. Getting the dross to the top, cleaning it off so you could have pure gold, perfect, complete, lacking in nothing. That's the long game, but we're going to have to play the short game if we're going to get there. The idea of fiery furnaces is exactly what Peter talks about. In 1 Peter, if there's a New Testament Proverbs, it's the book of James. If there's a New Testament Job, it's the book of 1 Peter. Every chapter in 1 Peter, he talks about suffering. He talks about trials. He talks about persevering. In chapter 1, verse 6 and 7, he talks about fiery furnace. In chapter 4, verse 12, he talks about a fiery ordeal. Chapter 5, verse 10, the thesis of the entire book of 1 Peter, he says, after you've suffered a little while. We have to realize that our suffering, our trials, are for a little while. They're not forever, but they are for a while. So we have to realize that. John Ortberg said it like this, your character is forged when life does not turn out the way you planned. Wow, what a statement. Your character is forged when life does not turn out the way it's planned. C.S. Lewis, a great writer of old, said, pain is God's megaphone. What is God saying to you? God's megaphone is the pains of life. That's God speaking. Right now, some of you are going through some stressful season. What is God saying to you? Are you taking the test? Is He purifying you? Is He making your life more perfect, complete, lacking in nothing? How are you doing in that? If you're open to this, I would be glad and honored to read through them. I've asked you to write a lot of things in the comment section, but if you could summarize what is the test that you're going through right now. If you want to be generic or you want to be specific, put it in the comments section. You may say, the rhythms of my life are all messed up and I'm trying to figure it out. You might say that it's too much family time, or it might be that work is demanding too much of me, or it might be something that you're struggling with internally. Where are you at, and how can we be praying for you in this season? If you also text GPC Connect to 97000, one of our pastors will reach out to you and help connect you and pray with you and walk with you in this season. So what do? Pathway number 1, choose your attitude. Pathway number 2, take the test. Pathway number 3, stand strong. As you are walking in this season of testing and trials, in the various kinds that they may come, stand strong. Verse 3, he literally makes it clear. He makes it clear in verse 3, and in verse 4 he uses the same word twice. It says, stand fast. I was reading in my own personal times with the Lord the other day in Psalm 57 about when David was struggling in his own life, running for his life, being chased, being nearly killed. And he was running and wondering, where's God? In fact, this is what he said, my soul is in the midst of lions. I lie amid fiery place to be. The children of man whose teeth are spears and arrows, whose tongues are sharp swords. That is Psalm 57, verse 4. That doesn't sound like he was having a walk in the park eating snow cones. Lions, beasts, spears, arrows. Verse 7. That was verse 4. Verse 7. My heart is steadfast. Oh God, my heart is steadfast. See, take a deep breath. Breathe out. In times of trials and testing, choose your attitude. Take the test and stand strong. Let all the other dross fall off. Let all the other broken parts of our life, let all the other distractions of the world fall off, and see the core of who you are. James 1, 3-4 says, your faith produces in steadfastness, and let steadfastness have its full effect. Even Paul prayed when he was praying for the church at Colossae. He prayed for them to be steadfast. He prayed for endurance. The same word James uses in James chapter 1 for steadfast, Paul uses in Colossians chapter 1 verse 11. Being strengthened with all power according to His glorious might for all endurance and patience with joy. There is joy and there is steadfastness. There is joy and there are trials, and we can have both. In this whole steadfast point, I pointed out that my times with the Lord, Psalm 57, God had me in. Listen, I can tell you this from a personal experience, and Lori, if she was standing here on the stage, we cannot make it through life without times with God. We both start all of our days, every day, in a time with the Lord. And she was in the time with the Lord the other day, and she was reading through a great little devotional book, a classic of classics, Oswald Chambers, My Utmost for His Highest. You can go back and you can read April, I think it's 29th, for yourself. And just read it in light of COVID-19. I want to read it. It's a long quote, but you follow along as I read it. Naturally, we are inclined to be so mathematical and calculating that we look upon uncertainty, may I say disruption, as a bad thing. Certainty is the mark of a common sense life. Certainty is the mark of a common sense life. Gracious uncertainty is the mark of the spiritual life. To be certain of God means that we are uncertain in all our ways. We do not know what a day may bring forth. This is generally said with a sigh of sadness. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, so we kind of get our ruffled feathers. We say that with sadness. It should be rather an expression of breathless expectation. We are uncertain of the next step, but we are certain of God. We are not uncertain of God, but uncertain of what He is going to do next. When we are rightly related to God, life is full of spontaneous, joyful uncertainty. Disruptions, may I say, and expectancy. Leaving the whole thing to Him is gloriously uncertain how He will come in, and He will come. What a beautiful statement that the spiritual life is actually a disrupted life, an uncertain life. The end game for God in your life and my life is perfect, complete, lacking in nothing. How do you get there? You get there on pathways by counting it all joy, by taking the test, by standing strong. Now that sounds, let me just say this, that sounds very mind over matter. That sounds very secular humanistic, because I didn't mention Jesus in any of that, right? You can't do any of that without Jesus. We got to remember, when James was writing the book of James, who was he writing it to? He was writing it to Christians. There was the presumption that they were already believers. They were the dispersed church. They had Jesus in them. So how am I able to count it all joy without Jesus? It's impossible. How am I able to take the test without crumbling under the weight and the pressures and the heat and the fire of life without Jesus? I don't know how people do it. How am I able to stand strong and not lose character and actually be better on the backside without Jesus? I don't know how. If you don't have Jesus as the foundation of your life, you'll never be able to count it all joy. You'll never be able to take the test and pass it, and you will never be able to stand strong. But when you have Jesus, you can walk in joy, you can take the test, and you can be steadfast. And, my friends, you will be perfect, complete, lacking in nothing. If you don't know Jesus like that today that I just described, I want to again offer you to text us, Trust Jesus, at 97000. One of our pastors in the next 24 hours will reach out to you. We want to pray with you, walk with you, help you enter into that relationship with Jesus. Or if you just want to connect with us, GPC Connect 97000. We are here for you. We want to walk with you. We want to pray with you. We want to help you reimagine your life to the new normal when it comes.
You know, this season is so difficult and challenging. And for me, it's only amplifying in my life just how much I need Jesus. And Mike just shared, and we really believe this, that our true hope is only found in Jesus. The only way out of the darkness into light is through Jesus. The only way that we can be perfect, complete, and lacking in nothing is because of Jesus. And so I just want to throw this out there one last time. If you have not made that decision for Jesus, just text Trust Jesus to 97000, and one of our pastors will follow up with you today. So Trust Jesus 97000. Or if you're in the middle of this time and it's just it's hurting and there's pain and you want to connect with a pastor, we'd love to be in contact with you. Just text GPC Connect to, again, 97000. It's been a great morning. Thanks for us for being with us this morning. Just a couple of things before you go. A couple quick reminders. One, it's Mother's Day. Wish your mom happy Mother's Day. And we've got a winner from the quiz that was taken earlier during that Zoom call with the moms. Our friend Elizabeth Sullivan. She scored a whopping 20 out of 20. So congratulations, Elizabeth, I think. But we've got a special gift for you. We'll get in contact with you about getting that to you. And hey, if you're sitting here going, oh, forgot to get my mom a gift, you can swing by the church. Right out in the parking lot, we've got these lovely DIY Mom's Day gifts. You can put that together. Have some fun with it. It's a great gift. Swing by. They're out in front of the church right now. You can come by anytime today. And then last, you've had your kids with you. Maybe you moms are sitting there going, I could use a little break from my kids. Well, our KidMin team has put together some incredible resources for your kids. Their kids' church, and you can get to those. Pull them up on an iPad, on a phone, on a computer, hand it to your kids, and they can go through their own experience. But you can find that at gracepointchurch.net/kidschurch. With all that said, thanks for being with us this morning. It's been a great time. Next week, we're diving into James in our new message series. So we'll see you next Sunday at 8:30 right here on Facebook Live. As you go into your driveways, your neighborhoods, your Zoom rooms, be people who show and share Jesus in everyday conversations with everyday people. Y'all have a great week. Live sent.
Give me